What happens to your body if you eat eggs every day for a week? What about for a month or a full year? It turns out eggs burn fat faster and in more ways than almost anyone realizes, especially the dangerous fat that you can't see. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how much fat eggs can help you lose, the timeline of when each change starts kicking in, and the best strategies for losing weight with eggs, including how to cook them the right way, and which eggs at the store are actually worth your money. And as a bonus at the end, I'll cover the one thing you need to know about eggs and your cholesterol before you start eating 4 a day. Now, within the first few days of eating eggs for breakfast, something changes that most people don't expect. Your hunger drops. And I don't mean you feel a little less hungry. I mean the constant urge to snack throughout the day finally quiets down. There's a specific reason for that. When you eat eggs in the morning, they do something to the hunger hormones in your body that almost no other breakfast food does. You've got a hormone called ghrelin. For me, it's like a little gremlin in there that's always nom, 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 nom. That's the hunger hormone. Eggs suppress ghrelin more aggressively than just about any other breakfast food you can eat. At the same time, they crank up 2 fullness hormones, PYY and GLP-1. And yes, GLP-1 is the same hormone Ozempic is trying to copy with a synthetic drug, but you're getting it naturally for about 30 cents an egg. So you've got the hunger signal going down and the fullness signal going up at the same time. And the result? People eating eggs for breakfast naturally eat about 400 fewer calories the rest of the day. Here's something else most people don't know. The hunger-suppressing effect doesn't just last a few hours. Research shows it can last as long as 36 hours. That means 1 egg breakfast on Monday morning is still affecting your hunger on Tuesday. So people who eat eggs for breakfast consume significantly fewer calories not just that day, but into the next day as well, without changing anything else about their diet. When you add that up over the course of a week, you're looking at close to a pound of fat loss just from changing what you eat for breakfast. Next, once you're a week or 2 in, something changes that actually flips your body from storing fat to burning, and it all starts with your blood sugar. Eggs have almost 0 carbs. There's only about 1 gram in 2 eggs. So when you eat them in the morning instead of cereal or toast or instant oatmeal, your insulin stays very low. And insulin's the boss. It's the hormone that decides whether your body stores fat or burns it. When insulin spikes, which happens every time you eat a high-carb breakfast, your body goes into storage mode. When insulin stays low, your body can actually access fat stores and then use them as fuel. So just by swapping what you eat in the morning, you're flipping that switch earlier and keeping it flipped longer. And if you do it every morning for a week or 2 weeks, your insulin sensitivity actually starts to improve. That's when your body stops defaulting to storage mode and starts defaulting to burning fat. Now, by the time you've been eating eggs every morning for a few weeks, the fat loss becomes visible. And I'm not talking about water weight, I'm talking about losing actual body fat, especially around the belly. In one of the biggest studies on this, researchers took 2 groups of overweight adults, put them on the same calorie-restricted diet, same number of calories. The only difference was breakfast. One group ate eggs, the other group ate a bagel. After 8 weeks, the egg group lost 65% more total weight, and their waist shrank 34% more than the bagel group. Same calories, completely different result. In another study from the University of Alabama, older adults eating at least 3 eggs a day on a low-carb diet lost 9.7% of their total body fat in just 8 weeks. The group that wasn't eating eggs, they only lost 2%. It's nearly 5 times more fat loss in the same amount of time. Now, a huge part of why eggs are so effective for belly fat specifically comes down to a nutrient that most people have never heard of. It's called choline, and your liver needs it to do its job. Your liver is constantly processing fat, pulling it from your body's fat stores, packaging it up so it can be burnt for energy. But to do that packaging, your liver needs choline. Without enough choline, fat gets stuck. It just sits there in the liver and it builds up. That's actually one of the driving forces behind fatty liver disease, which is one of the fastest growing health conditions in the country and in the world right now. And eggs are the single richest source of choline on this planet. 4 eggs gives you about 590 milligrams, which is more than a full daily recommended amount for both men and women. Most people aren't getting anywhere close to that, especially people who only eat egg whites. That's because the yolk is where virtually all the choline lives. If you're only eating egg whites, you're getting almost none of it. You're also missing the healthy fats, the vitamin D, and the nutrients that make eggs so effective in the first place. Now, here's where the timeline takes a turn that surprises a lot of people. There are actually 2 types of belly fat. There's the fat you can pinch, the layer right under your skin, called your subcutaneous fat, and then there's a deeper, more dangerous type of fat called visceral fat. Visceral fat is packed around your organs, your liver, your kidneys, your intestines. You can't really feel it, can't see it, but it's the kind of fat that's most strongly linked to heart disease, diabetes, and metabolic problems. And this is the type of fat that eggs attack. In that University of Alabama study that I just mentioned, the egg group didn't just lose more body fat overall. They lost 22.8% of their visceral fat. The non-egg group lost 1%. That's a 20-to-1 difference in the most dangerous type of fat in your body. And that was just in 8 weeks. Now, for the men watching this, there's something else happening during this window that most people don't connect to eggs. Your testosterone levels start improving. The cholesterol in the egg yolk is the raw material that your body uses to build testosterone. When you eat whole eggs consistently, you're giving your body what it needs to maintain healthy testosterone levels. And in a 12-week study where men either ate whole eggs or the same amount of protein from egg whites, the whole egg group had a 250% larger increase in testosterone, along with greater strength and lower body fat levels. This is a big deal for people over 50 because higher testosterone levels help preserve muscle. And the more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns around the clock, even while you sleep. Speaking of muscle, that brings us to what happens next, because by the 3 to 6 month mark, eggs are doing something most diets can't pull off. You're losing fat and building muscle at the same time. That's called body recomposition, and it's the holy grail of fat loss. With most diets, you lose weight, but a chunk of what you're losing is muscle. Eggs flip that script. They're loaded with an amino acid called leucine. Leucine is the on switch for muscle protein synthesis. That's the process your body uses to repair and build muscle. And whole eggs trigger a 40% greater muscle building response than egg whites alone. So while the scale is moving down, your body is quietly rebuilding underneath. So now that you've seen what happens over time, I want to give you the playbook for dropping as much fat as possible with eggs. First, let's talk about how many you should eat. 3 to 4 whole eggs per day is the sweet spot. That gets you to the choline threshold that your liver needs. It gives you enough protein to trigger the full satiety response. And it's the dose used in the fat loss research. 2 eggs isn't quite enough, depending on your size, to get you there. So try to get to that 3 or 4 egg threshold. Pair your eggs with fiber-rich vegetables, spinach, mushrooms, peppers, onions, broccoli. You could even do psyllium husk. You can check out that video I have on it, or chia seeds if you have access to those as well. Protein, fat, and fiber together create the strongest hunger-suppressing signal your body can get. So consider scrambling your eggs, sautéing some onions or garlic or spinach or mushrooms, and just, mix it all together. It's one of the most effective fat loss meals that you can make. Now, an important thing to keep in mind, you want to replace what you're currently eating for breakfast with eggs, not add them on top. So if you're eating cereal, swap it for 3 eggs and vegetables. Adding eggs alongside a full breakfast just adds extra calories. Next, let me show you the best way to actually cook the eggs, because that matters more than most people think. The golden rule is this: cook the white all the way, but protect the yolk. The white needs to become digestible. Raw egg protein is only about 51% absorbable. Your body literally can only use half of it. Cooking the white bumps that to over 90% absorption. But the yolk is kind of the opposite. The less you cook the yolk, the more of its nutrients survive. The omega-3s, the choline, the vitamin D, the antioxidants. High heat on the yolk creates something called oxysterols, oxidized cholesterol, which is actually the type of cholesterol that can cause more damage. So your best options are soft-boiled or poached, cooked white or runny yolk, over easy, maybe a little over medium. I tend to go about right there, but try not to go over hard because you're overcooking them. And then everyone that has a concern about the cholesterol in eggs, you are now oxidizing it. And that's the concern. Cholesterol itself is produced by your body and needed to create every cell inside of you. Oxidized cholesterol is damaged cholesterol that is not usable or dangerous. So we want to keep our cholesterol in its real healthy form. You can scramble the eggs as well, low heat. If you're in a rush, a hard-boiled egg is a great option and easy to meal prep. You lose a little bit of the vitamin D from the longer cook time, but the convenience trade-off is well worth it. Fried eggs is my favorite form. It's okay, just keep the heat low, like slowly cook them. Maybe use, like I said, butter or avocado oil or extra virgin olive oil. Maybe use, like I said, butter or avocado oil or extra virgin olive oil, which gives you a little bit of fat-boosting benefit. Use those for sure instead of vegetable oil. Now also to consider, not all eggs are created equal. The type of egg you buy makes a real difference in how much nutrition that you're actually getting. So let me walk you through the types from worst to best. At the bottom, you've got conventional caged eggs. These are the cheapest eggs on the shelf. The hens are in small cages, and those eggs have the lowest omega-3 content, the lowest vitamin D content, and the palest colored yolks. Now, I want to be clear, even these eggs still give you the protein, and they still have the choline, and they still have the satiety benefits. If this is the only type that fits your budget, you're still going to be way ahead of eating cereal. Next, one step up from that is cage-free. Now, cage-free means they aren't just stuck in cages. They get to roam throughout the building, but they're still eating commercial grain. Nutritionally, they're almost identical to the conventional one. They just get to move around more. After that is free range. Free range means the hens technically have outdoor access, but outdoor access can mean a small door in a giant indoor barn. Most of the hens never actually use it, so you get a modest bump in nutrients because they're eating natural bugs and things on the ground like they're supposed to eat, but it's not a massive nutritional upgrade. Above that, you've got organic. Organic means that no pesticides or herbicides are in the feed being fed to the hens. No antibiotics are being used, and they have required outdoor access. Now you will see more vitamin A, vitamin E, and slightly more omega-3s in organic eggs. Then all the way up, you've got pasture-raised, and this is where the jump gets significant. Pasture-raised means the hens actually live outdoors on real grass, eating bugs, eating plants, their natural diet. These eggs have up to 4 times the amount of omega-3s, 4 times the vitamin D, and over 3 times the vitamin E of conventional eggs. You'll notice the yolk is a deeper orange color instead of more of a pale yellow. That's all the extra nutrients showing up. So if you're buying eggs at the grocery store, look for a certified humane pasture-raised egg right on the carton. Pasture-raised itself isn't federally regulated, so the certification of certified humane is really what gives it teeth and more certainty. And the very tip-top of that we all don't necessarily have access to, the best egg you can buy is local pasture, raised from farmers markets or a local farm. These hens have the most natural diet, freshest eggs. The nutrient levels are the highest you can find anywhere. So if you do have access to them, that's the gold standard. Now, here's the thing I promised I'd address at the beginning of the video. If you've been told your whole life that eggs raise your cholesterol, for decades we were told that eating cholesterol raises your blood cholesterol. And that is what leads to heart disease. But the actual science has a very different story. Your liver produces about 80% of the cholesterol in your blood on its own. Your liver is not creating something to kill you. When you eat cholesterol from food, like eggs, your liver detects it, and then it adjusts by producing less. Your body self-regulates. For about 70% of people, eating eggs has no meaningful effect on their blood cholesterol levels at all. For about 30% of people, they're called hyperresponders. Eggs do have an impact on LDL. But here's the details that change everything. They raise the large, fluffy LDL particles. Those are the harmless kind. The small, dense LDL particles, the ones that get oxidized. The ones that actually damage your arteries, those don't go up. And a major study published just last year put this to the test directly. They had people eat 2 eggs a day as part of a diet low in saturated fat. And the result? Their LDL actually went down. The real driver of high cholesterol was never the eggs. It was from processed foods, fried foods, and low-quality oils. Eggs got blamed for what was happening around them on the plate. Major health organizations around the world have removed the cap on dietary cholesterol because the evidence just doesn't support the old fear. Eating 3 to 4 eggs a day is perfectly safe for the vast majority of people, and based on what we've covered today, eating 4 whole eggs a day might be the single most powerful breakfast you can change to make you burn fat. Now, eggs are one of the most powerful fat loss foods that you can eat for breakfast. They're not the only one. In my other video, I break down the 10 breakfast foods for getting rid of belly fat, including a few that work even better when you combine them with eggs. I'll include a link to that video here. Click to watch it next, and I'll see you there.